Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the GAIA Daily for May 28th, 29th, 2020. How are you doing? Well, really powerful energies today as Jupiter has made it back in its retrograde to 26 degrees. Pluto's at 24. Now their next conjunction in July, the exact conjunction, is going to happen at 23 degrees. So it's like going back. But now they're 2 degrees apart. So we're officially back in, I mean, we've been here the whole time, but Jupiter, Pluto. And there's a real energy right now with this huge bloom of Gemini. Gemini's the twins, and we've been talking a lot about this energy, but today the twins are like, they're fighting, and everybody's trying to go different directions. So I don't know about you, but I'm sensing in the collective, our groups, our soul groups, our SuperNova soul groups, that there's this kind of sense of this other level of wrestling going on between paradigms, between energies, between vibrations. And it's exhausting. And it seems to have to do with this Mercury today. Mercury is in its last degree of Gemini. So Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, Mercury's been cruising right along because it's not in a it's coming into a retrograde season. And as it moves into Cancer tomorrow, it'll be taking a retrograde in Cancer. But it kind of cruised right through Gemini, and it's kind of like moving right along. And now it's at the last degree, 29 degrees of Gemini, and in conjunction to the North Node. And the North Node, that means, of course, opposite the South Node. And so this is like the first major personal planet interaction with the nodes since they shifted signs. And it's kind of like, ooh, here we are. Wait, where are we? What are we doing? Where are we going? Because the nodes are about direction. It's about how are you going to get to where you want to go? The nodes are a point in space that represent the intersection between the rotation of the moon around the earth and the earth around the sun, and where those intersect. Because when the moon and the sun line up with those, which is what we're coming into with this next month, that's when we have eclipses. So there's this energy of trying to orient, and Gemini is like all about trying to orient. And it just feels like the twins are trying to go different directions right now. It's like we're just, are we coming up on a timeline split? Like there's just this like war, energetic struggle going on. And I feel like that's within each of us. It's within the world and the macrocosm, microcosm. And it feels like with all this retrograde energy, like there's huge energies coming up, which I think it's really important to talk about, to be able to put them into perspective. We kind of talked about it yesterday, but that we are not just in a shift of ages, we're in a shift of eons. And so like we're having stuff come up from all other shifts of ages, and you supernova souls have come in at these darkest, most crucial times in this earth evolution to try to bring the light and hold space for the light through the darkest times. And there's so much coming up around feeling like we're not getting anywhere, feeling like we're going backwards. And it's like all this stuff that's actually from the past, of like, because that's not actually what's happening. We're making huge leaps and bounds energetically. But for some reason, these souls are replaying just some very dark, depressing, hopeless energies. And maybe that's part of the program, right? It's like the control energies. That's their last card in the game, is to keep us, to get us, kind of like create a mental paradigm that we're not getting anywhere and we might as well just give up, right? Because the thing about Gemini is that it's a mastermind. It's how to get yourself out of the trap, right? But it's also the manipulator. And it's like using, it's like coyote trickster, and so it's a very, very strange time when it's like humanity is being asked to look at this manipulation, to look at the mind control, to look at the lies, to look at the delusions. And for those of us who have been seeing through these energies for a while, it's really difficult, because it's like, how far do we need to go? Like, how far do we need to go into tyranny before humanity wakes up? But the whole energy, this is a delusion, right? Like, I'm being shown so clearly that just behind the veil of all this play of events is this massive light, right? And that's this like twofold energy of the Jupiter Pluto conjunction. It's like, yes, it's at the last decan of Capricorn, which has an intensity. It has like facing the music, coming home to father after you've been out all night, right? And Jupiter wants to play and expand and bring in the light and like possibilities. And Pluto is like this, breaking down, destroying and rebuilding the structures of our world. And it's like, let's go ahead and get this party started, except for like we're in this massive retrograde season, right? And it's this whole thing of like, well, you got to go backwards to go forward. But so just know that everything right now looks retrograde. Like everything just looks like we're devolving. And the trap for these souls is getting into this place of like feeling powerless and defeated, because this is what's trying to cleanse out of your psyche, So that has to do with the fact that we're not just in a shift of ages, but that shift of eons. And it's all these times from our past that are like coming up for review for these souls. And that's feelings of, with this Mercury opposite the South Node today, it's this like uncomfortable place of the Sagittarius South Node of like failing in your mission and you don't deserve your mission. And these souls, it's like a bloom. You guys, these souls, supernova souls, have always felt kind of rejected from the earth, even though they love and they're so devoted and in service. And this is blooming in this feeling of like somehow this like deep spiritual failure, which isn't even possible, because it's like when you step out of the play of events, it's like, wait a minute, this is just a story, and there's no, like, the light always wins in the end. It just might take another eon, right? And is it up to us? Like, is it our personal failure that humanity wasn't ready to awaken at the time you thought they should awaken? But it's like, it's just this big, heavy boulder of energy kind of weighing down deep subconscious in these souls, right? But it's important to talk about it, because if you're feeling this kind of despondent energy in your life of like that you felt before, but you kind of just went on, and now it's like, it's just so big, it just has to do with ancient stories playing out, and it's because we've got to rewrite those stories, like it's time for a whole new game. And so that's the energy right now. So Venus has come out of that square with Neptune. It's at 17 degrees now, and Neptune's at 20. And Mercury on the North Node in Gemini, the twins going like, where are we? Who are we? Where are we going? Where are we at? Where am I in relation to my path? And feeling so lost, because if you're in this place of like the Sagittarius energy, the positive energy of that South Node is like, I'm on my journey. I'm focused. I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm going there. And it's just this fiery satisfaction, right? Then say something happened that like kind of basically interfered with your ability, like you got killed or something, betrayed or whatever, so you couldn't fulfill that mission. And it's like that mission still lives in you, but it's deep subconscious from an ancient time. And it's just like a very confusing energy. And so the other side of Sagittarius is this spiritual despondency, right? Like a lack of connection to focus. Nothing matters. Nothing makes sense. What's the point of living, right? And maybe that's the important thing, is that to recognize that that's the flip side of the coin. And this is coming up because it's time to get back on the horse. It's time to get back on the mission, except for that we have to not be attached to the personality constructs of like, this is exactly what it looks like, which is maybe why we don't get to know what it looks like. We have to feel it. We have to know it. We have to feel it and use that to our heart to get us in the right direction, and in alignment with what we're doing here. Because our path and purpose is actually thy path and purpose. We're working in this in, the God construct oneness principle outside of the duality, right? And then we're stuck in this duality, lower human infant place and just trying to, this is what's going on for the supernova soul. It's like you got some infant baby issues and you're like this big, wise, massive light being, so it's like, it's gotta get worked out. And that's the point of the Supernova Soul Tribe. It's like to help define the story of these souls that's been downloading through my sessions for the last 5-6 years, and to say, hey, this might make sense why you feel the way you feel and why things have been so incredibly difficult for you when the people around you are just kind of cruising along. And then what are we gonna, and then the power we have, that the destiny of these souls is to work together in groups, except for that, for the most part, these groups don't have any of their soul group members in their life. And so it's like, okay, so we got some shit to work through, and then we kind of have to redirect. And this is this nodal energy, and it's like the eclipse is coming up, and redirect to like, okay, what are we going to do when we come together? What's this coming together? The power of all of these bright souls that are so bright that they've been hiding so deeply, even from themselves, right? But they have that Sagittarius distortion of that we were talking about, of like this despondency, spiritual despondency, right? Lack of purpose, because you have such a big purpose, but you've been so disconnected from your purpose because you've been persecuted and all those stories, right? And then it's kind of like, so this energy this next month is like, okay, so say we do come together in the Supernova Soul Tribe and find each other and help each other find more members. And then what are we going to do with that energy? What are we doing here? What is this about? And so the Supernova Soul Tribe is about remembering who we are as that bigger star self, and getting back on the horse and using our power together, because this is what changes the world. And this is where I and the souls around me, I can feel it and see it in the sessions. It's like getting really pulled back into the everyday story of what's going on in the world and how to fix it. And we fix it from this place of our visionary vibrational reality, right? Except for each of us alone doing our visioning. This is the trap. This is why these souls haven't been able to find each other, because there's so much power in the togetherness. So what are we going to do with our light army? Right? And so it's almost like the Supernova Soul energy is just taking off, and there's some glitches in the website, so be patient with me as far as like the technological stuff, and I have lots of messages I need to get to. It'll take a minute for me to catch up, but I will be on the forum and I will be on the Facebook group. So just to clarify that, the Supernova Soul Tribe has a Facebook group that anybody can join right now, but eventually I will make that more of a closed group. And then there's the $9.99 a month Soul Tribe membership. That's going to be on my website. That's private forum, exclusive content, and discounts to events and to classes and stuff. So just clarifying that, and just, this is an energy thing, and anybody who feels resonant is a part of it, right? It's like, and that's kind of why I've been so passionate about this work, is because it's not about, a lot of times they'll say advanced soul, and I'll get a response from people being like, what's the deal with this hierarchy? And it's like, advanced doesn't mean you're better or worse than another person. It means you've had thousands of more lifetimes of experience. And are you going to start using that and living that, and respecting and honoring the spiritual gifts you have of the divine within you? Or are you going to keep letting people poop all over them, right? And take on the garbage, right? And it's like, so the advanced soul part isn't saying that anybody's better than anybody else. It's just more experience. It's just a fact, right? And these souls have been so beaten down and so not fitting in and so disconnected from their tribe and from who they are. And it's like the power of the shift of consciousness that's trying to happen on the planet happens because of us stepping over the edge. The advanced soul thing, the Supernova Soul, means you have the codes of spiritual ascension, whether or not you know it or not. That's why you've been going through what you've been going through for lifetimes. And those codes of spiritual ascension in your DNA might be covered up and hidden, and you don't feel worthy of it, and all this garbage, but they're still there. And that's because supernova souls, all these categories of these different, like star seeds, indigo, rainbow, crystal, whatever, have gone through spiritual ascension already. Okay. So you don't remember this, but your body, your psyche, your energetic field, you have this, it's okay. You're comfortable with the energetic changes. You're here to stabilize and lead the way. And so when we come together and we kind of recognize and validate and imagine these big, huge light beings finally validated and supported in landing home this light on the earth. So that's where we need to focus and put our energy on, like, kind of this question, because it's like I am guided to bring these souls together and to support these souls and finding each other. But then it's like, just like these sessions and the videos and everything, it's like I don't plan what I'm going to say. It's a channeled message, reading the group and the higher self. That's why it's like, why are you talking right to me, right? And that's what's happening. So then we got to come together as a group and then read the energies and be like, okay, what are we doing here? What are we going to use our light army for? And that's like, but this image of these, what's happening now is these souls are relatively in that despondency, the South Node Sag energy. It's like they're like an empty whole vessel, and kind of feeling like, what am I even doing here? And then imagine that filled with the light that they are. And imagine all these bright lights all over the planet, like, and coming into this bigger star self, and with determination and spiritual will, like holding that white light shield energy or whatever it is, and that's what tips us over. That's what we're all waiting for. It's like, well, we're waiting for some more truth. We're waiting for humanity to wake up. We're waiting for some more 1984 energy before people realize that they're in a tyrannical state, and it's like, what if they're waiting for us to incarnate our light finally? Not, and that's maybe the part of this heavy feeling of responsibility energy that's coming up right now. Like, you failed in your mission. Why even bother? Why even try? You're already defeated. And that's not true. What's true is that we already won. We're working from the future. And so somehow we got to figure out how to bring our light here to the present. And that incarnating of this big light, remembering who you are, that's what shifts the vibration on the planet, and that's also letting go of all the karmic garbage you've been carrying as that self-sacrificing, like, oh, I got to take on the pain, of the collective and all that. Take off that karmic garbage that's not your own, because you didn't create this situation. You've always been in alignment with this greater truth within you, that you're here on spiritual service. That was already decided before you came in. And then, but there's all these stories that you're the disease, or you're the heretic, or you're the one that created the war, and it's like, no, you came in the light. You're still in the light, no matter how dark and muddied you got in this place. You were already purified initiate before you ever came to the earth. And now it's time to remember. And that's what pushes this evolution over the edge. And so we got to pull ourselves out of the soup and pull ourselves back out of the stories and hold space in that vibration. But this is what this whole project is about. But anyway, to just kind of go off there a little bit. But so I hope you'll consider being a part of the SuperNova Soul Tribe Experience, either on the Facebook group or just energetically here on YouTube. I try to read every comment and make sure that I'm listening and being present with you in this amazing, powerful group of souls. I cannot wait to see what happens as we come together. And I have a longer term vision plan. We'll see, because it's up to the group, but live events, traveling around, and then also, just bringing our energy together more deliberately as the light army that we are. And so hang in there. you know. There's just like this huge energy of sucking down into the eddy of the tide going out. And that's just where we are right now. It's apparent backward motion. And what's just beyond the veil is just this sparkling fairy dust, golden light energy that's like ready to wash over the planet as soon as those souls are ready to contain and own and hold precious and honor these sacred spiritual gifts that are trying to come to fill our empty cup, right? So, okay. Yes, we have the moon in Leo today. And tomorrow, Mercury moves into Cancer. And then the moon moves into Virgo. So, and we have this massive Gemini bloom of confusion, disorientation. Where am I going? Who am I? Where are we? What are we doing? And maybe that's this opportunity to get, that's this eclipse season, right? We're in it now. And it's all about lining up with something more true, more real, and more meaningful. So thanks so much for being here. I'm super honored to work with you. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for tomorrow's update. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.